There was that moment near Red Buttes Camp in Wyoming when the situation of the Martin Handcart Company was beyond critical. The winter storms had come, the camp was low on food, and Captain Martin called the company together, informed them that they only had enough food for one more day. Did they want it all right now, or did they want to apportion their meager portion over 3 days? The company agreed to divide it. Louisa Mellor Clark was there, and she describes that moment. She said, "Despite our desperate situation, we sang the handcart songs. One was, 'If we should die before our journey's through, happy day, all is well.'" And she continued, "The camp gave up to die, if need be, and scarcely a dry eye was left to see the dying." Well, according to Louisa, the camp and the company moved on as best they could. Then somewhere along the trail, Louisa's mother finally just could go no further. She gave up, sat down. Louisa said, "She bid my father goodbye, kissed each one of the children Godspeed, and then," Louisa said, "my mother sat down on a boulder and wept." The company went on without her, but Louisa refused to leave her mother. Once the handcarts had moved on, Louisa said she went a short distance away and prayed with faith that God would help us, that he would protect us from the devouring wolves, and asked that he would let us reach camp. End of quote. At the conclusion of her prayer, and you know this story, Louisa stood up and started walking back to her mother. As she walked, she saw a pie sitting in the road. She picked it up, gave it to her mother. They ate the pie, and after some time felt strong enough to start walking. With thanks to God for his blessings, they walked on, trying to catch up with the camp, and soon met Louisa's father coming out to meet them. And what a joyful meeting that was, she said. It would not be the last time that Louisa or her family felt like giving up. But each time Louisa's mother would remember how wonderful the Lord had been to spare her so many times, and Louisa said her mother offered a prayer of gratitude instead of quitting. She went on her way, rejoicing, Louisa said, while walking the blood-stained path of snow. Can you imagine? Sometime later, November 30th, 1856, the Martin Company reached the Salt Lake Valley. Louisa described that moment. She said, and I quote, "Brother Wheelock and Brother Goddard were in the crowd to meet us when we arrived. They asked for James Mellor," that's Louisa's dad. "When they saw him, they were stunned. A man of 38 years of age with hair as white as the driven snow. Indeed, the trials and tribulations, the hardships and the deprivations they had suffered from England to the Salt Lake Valley had taken its toll. The two men," Louisa said, "took him in their arms and wept. They also greeted my mother, to whom they had promised life and that she would live to see Zion. We were received by the saints," Louisa said. We were a pitiful sight to see, and for weeks this company was not allowed to eat much, nor to see themselves in a mirror. President Young," she said, "met us, and when he saw us, he was so melted down with grief at the sight of our condition, he had to go home sick. But he blessed us first." End of quote. My dear friends, every time I go out on that trail and I listen to these stories, I am given this conviction That trail was hard. It was a difficult journey, even under the best of circumstances. That trail was a blessing. Yes, a blessing. That trail defined us as a people. It gave us a legacy and a heritage. We are, quoting, we are who we are because they were who they were and proved it. Now, my dear friends, let us go forward with faith and exercise the same determination, courage, obedience, and willingness to sacrifice.